Sup bros, it's me again, Terry, and I've been away for a while, and this is just a drunken rant type thing about, what's kind of led to that. This is actually a re-recording of it because of stuff and junk. But yeah, part of it is that I kind of got burned out. I was spending a whole lot of time editing and not getting enough sleep, and that was affecting my real life. I also kind of had some real life issues, both mundane and existential, to say the least. And those who are closer to me know what I've been going through. And I'm feeling a whole lot better now, thanks to all you bros who have talked with me about those issues. And I'm getting a lot more rest and back on my feet. And so I will be making. I have not given up on making videos because I really want to. Another issue is the book Man Up that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. I kind of got scared to talk about it because I started reading it, and it's a bro's memoir, and I felt kind of iffy talking about someone's personal life and being critical of it, because his experiences are real to him and everything. And like it says as my current pinned tweet on Twitter, I hate it when people psychoanalyze me. I hate it when bros do that. And pretend they know me just because of what I'm, saying in tweets. And so I talked it over with some of my bros, and they pointed out that I'm not actually psychoanalyzing him. I am looking at the way he's using his personal experience to prove his points, and that's not the same thing. If I was attacking him, if I was actually, I'm using, and one of them even said that the only way to really counter a personal experience narrative such as his is to bring up your personal experience. Which is something I've never really been comfortable doing on here, because I like, when making my arguments, to use actual evidence and statistics and not just my own. And I've been trying to distance myself from using personal experience in that, or focus on personal experience. And I guess I've kind of built myself into a box, because in this case, this is perfectly acceptable use of personal experience. I'm not just going to rely on personal experience, but oftentimes when you are talking to someone who's purely using personal experience, the way you break the pattern is point out your personal experiences that don't line up with theirs, and go from there. And then if they want to hear the actual evidence, then they will. So I'm going to hopefully use more than just my personal experience in the critiques. And I actually looked over. I have notes of talking points that I want to make about the introduction and part of the first chapter. I haven't finished writing my notes for the first chapter quite yet, but I do know. But I looked at it, and I'm not actually I looked at it, and I'm not psychoanalyzing him. I'm looking at what he's saying and pointing out the flaws in the logic that he uses. And I think there are a few points where I speculate about things, but I'm going to make it, if I include those things in my video, I'm going to make it clear that those are speculations and not actual prescriptions, or, it's my opinion. It's not that I'm not trying to say that this is definitively what he was thinking at the time, but it's the impression that I got, and you can take that impression for what it's worth. Because, I'm not him. I can't read his mind. And so, but I will, observation and thoughts like that are bound to creep into the video, even if no matter how much I scripted, I am going to go off script somewhat in tangents and things like that. But I'm going to try and make sure it's clear when I am making a speculation or opinion like that, as opposed to when I am actually trying to debunk an argument of his. And I think that will be good. If there's a better way of doing it, I am welcome to hearing it, as always. But yeah, those are pretty much the things that have kept me from doing it. Also, I think the thing that's kind of kept me down is that I do have a vision for my channel, and I'm learning more and more that what I want to do is going to take a whole lot more work and more knowledge about the subject than I already have. And that is going to take time for me to do it, so I am going to have to get more used to the idea that I am going to be talking more about articles and things like that while I take the steps to talk about masculinity in a more in-depth manner. And what I mean by that is... yeah, actually, I'll talk about that here. In the book Man Up, the author, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, he talks about how he wants to free men from the gender stereotypes, which I agree with. The thing is that he lumps all of the gender stereotypes or types and whatever as oppressive thing, inherently oppressive and bad. He wants men to be however they want, but he thinks that the current gender roles that we have been made by oppressive societal constructs based off of what I've read so far, which is pretty much in line with a lot of what feminism says. And I differ from that in that I don't think that what led to our current typical gender roles, not stereotypical, typical, well, not so typical anymore, but, traditional versus, nuclear family, came because of not societal change, but natural change. I agree with a lot of the assessments from the honey badgers on that there are not only cultural influences, but just natural influences. So, for example, take the example in the colonial times, if a couple was married and they lived out in the woods, both of them could not be out hunting or whatever and doing the menial work outside, the heavy work at the same time if they have a kid. Beforehand, yes. And before they had a kid, they could do that, but at one point, one of them has to stay in the home and take care of the kid, while the other one does the things necessarily for survival. And so, I think that is a good... Otherwise, they would both die, and so would their child. So I think that is what led to that, and not the other way, not some sort of societal hatred of women, and any sort of hatred of men outside of the traditional rugged masculine stereotype. And the thing is, we know that this is the case because, who was Shakespeare? There is male poetry and male art everywhere, so people, feminist bros, love to talk about how men don't express themselves and then demonize the male art world and everything. I'm going to make an entire video on this subject alone, trust me, because it really annoys me. But they simultaneously try and get into not say, yes, express your feelings, but when men express their feelings, then they minimize them, and they also minimize how men have historically done it in the past, like through art and song. Edgar Allan Poe and Michelangelo and Salvador Dali, all of them were men who were expressing their feelings through very constructive things. I mean, some were more successful at dealing with their negative feelings than others, certainly, but there are plenty of male fiction writers and male poetry writers out there. But they're bad because they covered up women's voices or something. But men totally need to express their feelings too. I digress. My point is that I think that there is much more to what caused the current typical gender roles than what the feminist narrative says. And but yeah, I really need to make a video on that. I came to the realization about that when one of my bros gave me this CD that was a bunch of reimagined folk songs, and a lot of, like, maybe even half of them were songs written about men who died in the lumber industry, or the sea, or sailing, or something like that. And this was how these songs were written to memorialize them. And that got me to realize that that's what men have been doing in literature this entire time. That male, patriarchal, white, Eurocentric voices are bad because colonialism. But they are literally silencing the creative voices and creative outlets that kept some of these men from committing suicide. And sometimes not even that. But that's an entire another video that I really need to put a lot more information, and care into it than just a short drunken rant such as this. But yeah, I am going to keep this short so I can maybe add some emotes to it. I'm not sure if I will or not. But yeah, if you bros been wondering where I've been as far as videos, I've been active on Twitter because that doesn't take that much time to do. Contrary to what some people think, I'm looking at the Trump critics who are complaining about him tweeting instead of sending stuff to Puerto Rico. And I'm not going to get into that. I don't really want to get into that right now. I have some strong opinions about that, but they don't go here. But yeah, thanks for listening, bros. If you like what you've heard so far, this isn't me at my strongest. If you're new, this is my first video, please go and check out my other videos, any single one of them. This was meant to be in the form of a Let's Play, but I had some computer problems, so it's just a drunken rant. So, but yeah, I'm not sure when, but I will be getting back to making videos soon. And so I hope you brothers will look forward to that. And I'm looking forward to the future and what I can do to help out men who are struggling with what to do as far as being masculine and everything like that. That's my ultimate goal. I want to help bros who are confused about whether or not masculinity is good or not find that it is in fact good. That is my ultimate goal with this channel, and I am going to continue to work with that. There might be months of reacting to feminist articles and the sporadic actual thing of celebrating masculinity and talking about things like that, but I plan on getting that, and I really hope I can do it. If I can manage it, I'm going to do it. But yeah, thanks for watching. Check out my other videos, and keep an eye out for what I have to come. I would like to, keep an eye out for that. And follow me on Twitter. I'm much more active on there right now. I love talking with all my bros and everything about all sorts of stuff, even if we totally disagree on things. Imagine that. I try, and I've actually been working on keeping opening up my echo chamber and following some people I don't agree with at all. I need to do more about that, admittedly. But yeah, follow me on Twitter. I'm Terry Bull on Twitter. I am still on Gab, but I don't use it. VidMe, Minds. If you want to see my scribblings, I'm also on Instagram now. I'm Terry Bowl, because I've been learning how to draw. I should do a video about that sometime, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Thanks for sticking with me despite my lack of activity. And yeah, peace, love, Tau, Rose.